Let's explain to people intelligently why you don't want to engage in prayer or meditation. From the present to the past with yourself, telling yourself what you need to do to be successful while in conflict and competing with others. Because no matter what happens, you're still going to be presently in your condition with the people that are fighting with you. Okay. Suzuki's, last night I was sitting there thinking, in Phoenix, if you could time travel, you do this. And then you start to barter and justify, well, then if that wouldn't happen, there'd be no Kate, there'd be no Noah or Crumb or Emily. And then you start to barter, well, they're not living the Lord's Prayer and they're being tortured. So go back in time and make sure everybody accepts and lives the Lord's Prayer. And then the spirit that provides life to these children will not be tortured, right? But the thing about it is this. Jesus couldn't talk the Romans into living the Lord's Prayer. What makes you think you could talk yourself into trying to teach everybody it before they were ready? But Jesus wasn't. I'm teaching people before they're ready. Jesus was teaching. Muhammad was teaching people before they were ready. Okay. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay. Time travel and prayer meditation for selfishness is absolutely meaningless. Sean Combs or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, tells himself what to do to be successful and famous. You're still stuck with these murdering assholes trying to beat the other person, and the other person will screw it up like Sean Combs. He can sit there and tell himself, tell everybody don't oversell their venue. So my first concert is a raging success. Well, somebody's going to try to undermine you and get credit for the promotion rather than you, and they're going to oversell. And you're going to end up taking responsibility for it because some other motherfucker is selfish and fucked you up because he's a lot like you. And he don't listen too good. He doesn't believe in the Lord's Prayer. He ain't got time for the Lord's Prayer. He's too smart for the Lord's Prayer. He's Elon Musk. He's Bill Gates. He's Mark Zuckerberg. He's Ronald Reagan. He's Jeff Bezos. Right? Here's how the Industrial Revolution is going to save the world. Here's how it's made our lives better. It has not made our lives better. Okay? That's not true. That is so untrue. The Industrial Revolution is mass murder on the brink of extinction. Is the Industrial Revolution. Okay. You live the Lord's Prayer, you do things right, your scientific method will work. There's nothing correct in the scientific community as we know it that is being done, researched, or being validated as valid. Okay. You're engaged in irrational thinking, selfish thinking, aggressive thinking, narcissistic thinking. Okay. You're not living the Lord's Prayer. You live the Lord's Prayer. Your science projects, okay, are going to be meaningful, they're going to be useful, they're going to be intelligent, and they're going to help people live better lives. If you're not living the Lord's Prayer, you're going to be in conflict, you're going to be fighting, you're going to be killing, you're competing for things that give you temporary pleasure, like sex, or, the other day I had this Burt Reynolds and Cesar Romero on Zane Grain Theater, right? And Cesar Romero's character becomes this manipulative gambler. They can manipulate everybody. He's really sharp. He's really shrewd. He's really charismatic. Okay? And then he manipulates this girl from getting her free because he constantly, when he gets out of things, he kills people because they catch him cheating at cards and doing all these horrible things to live this lifestyle, always on the run, like Russell Crowe's character and Glenn Ford's character from 3:10 to Yuma, right? That Amy was so attracted to. I'm like, how could you be attracted to a dog fart, pissant, sorry-ass egomaniac like that? That's gross, right? But women want to be with the guy who's successful because we're not living the Lord's Prayer, and the Lord's Prayer is for losers, according to Sean Combs, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Capital One Bank guy. Bank's open, right? The bank's not always open. It is on the basketball court. Okay. Bank's always open. And when you hit the bank first, as soon as it hits the bank, you're gonna get goaltending. So the bank is always good. It's good to you. You go for the backboard first if you can bank it in. If he has to catch it before it hits the bank. If it doesn't hits the bank before he hits it, it's always going to cash in, even if you weren't going to make the shot or not. You know what I'm saying? It's just basketball. I know basketball, Roja. Been playing it a lot most of my life. So, y'all, okay. Time travel is completely meaningless. Communicating with yourself to be successful, competing against other people is completely worthless and meaningless. Okay? Understand the Lord's Prayer. Submit to the beauty of the Lord's Prayer. Have faith in the glory of God. Love one another, eternal faithful peace. We don't need everybody to agree, because some people will want to poison the water hole. Kill everybody because they're not trying to, listen to me because I'm Adolf Hitler and I run the army and everybody wears my snappy uniforms to kill everybody I point them at, right? When I got frustrated with my dad because I went over and talked to him about security with our passwords on our internet stuff. And I said, in the future, the only thing we're going to protect is our water and our soil and our air. And Fort Knox isn't even going to, if you're going to have people with guns or mobilizing around to make sure everything's okay, it's to stop some maniac that's pissed off because he can't manipulate everybody. He's trying to poison the water hole, poison the soil, okay, or poison the food supply because he's a dick, right? So you want to protect your cattle and your chickens and your farm and your soil. And Fort Knox, fuck Fort Knox. My dad says, you really think so? You think that? I was like, Dad, don't be incoherent when I'm talking to you coherently. And you're agitated because you think I'm being condescending to you because I'm talking to you like you're unintelligent. I'm not talking to you like you're unintelligent. I'm talking to you like you're intelligent. Okay? Yeah, you voted for president. Yeah, Donald Trump's an idiot. So's Joe Biden. Okay? Just so happens you raised a kid who's not. That's something to take some, wow, that makes me kind of proud. So when you raise kids and they have a good heart and they try their best to be a good person, that's something to be proud of. Okay? I'm a proud man. All right? I love you guys very much. Let's put this in and see how long it takes the scientific community of NASAville to get intelligence accessible to the public on a social media site that still believes in Fort Knox. Okay? Love you.